What's up gamers, Cryptigo here, and welcome back to Lowering the Mark, a show where I analyze the current and former world records of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe time trial runs to see how these records get faster over time. We'll look at elements such as the loadout, racing lines, and mushroom usage to better understand what's bringing these times down. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell to be the first to know when my videos go live. For today's episode, we're heading back up to the Flower Cup and taking a look at the faster version of its introductory course, Mario Circuit at 200cc. On May 4th, 2017, the world record for this run was set at 1 minute 15.7 seconds by the English player Luna. Fast forward to the middle of the year on June 19th, 2021, and the record now stands at 1 minute 12.954 seconds thanks to the Japanese player Roru. That's a 2.7 second difference between records and a 3.6% faster time. Our former world record holder Luna has broken 14 records on this course only and has spent a total of 1 week holding at least one world record. Surprisingly, our current world record holder Roru has only broken 3 world records on this course only as well, but one of those 3 were strong enough to earn him a 250-day reign holding at least one world record. At pre-release, the world record was just over 118 and it would quickly find its way under 117 and 116 mostly thanks to Luna. About 2 weeks later, American player Jimmy would be the first person under 115 and started his world record campaign. He and a few other players fought for that impressive 113 time, and Jimmy looked like he was going to do it, but Extreme came in and got the sub first. That probably annoyed Jimmy, so he got right to work on lowering the mark even further, this time with a new competitor. He and fellow American Azusa went back and forth on their way down to this 113.5 that stood tall for over 100 days. The Jimmy era came to an end as Canada's own Matt went toe-to-toe with Soman and the record fell by 0.3 of a second. Soman won that duel, posting a 113.2 that would hold strong for over 200 days. In late 2019, Matt came out from the shadows and dropped 8 consecutive world records and brought the time ever so closer to 112. But Matt would never see that mark as Roru and Alberto took over in late 2020 for a total of 81 world records broken across 20 different players for this course. These loadouts are pretty much night and day, but the unusual discrepancies in stats are pretty interesting. Luna goes with the combo of Dry Bowser driving the Comet with the slim wheels and the Hylian Kite glider. Roru goes with the Heavy Me character driving the W25 with the leaf tires and the paper glider. So obviously we have a bike versus a kart, so right off the bat the drifting style is different. But the gaps in stats are not what you think they are. Luna somehow leads on both the top speed and handling stats, even if it's only by a few points combined. What's not unexpected is Roru having 1 point advantages in the acceleration and mini turbo stats, but what's interesting here is how he actually leads on the grip stat with a quote lighter loadout. Let's see how all this translates on the track. Now this course is still some weird derivative of a Mobius strip, but I was able to actually depict how I've sectioned off the course this time. S1 will end at the bridge on the top layer, S2 ends at the bridge on the lower layer, and S3 ends at the finish line but really only covers a single turn. Let's see how each racer goes about the course. Luna hits the rocket start out of the gate and goes into a wide first turn to grab the first 3 coins as well as an ultra mini turbo before chaining that with a quick mini turbo on the bridge to close out S1. Roru also hits the rocket start and grabs the same 3 coins and ultra mini turbo. After that, he just chains the same mini turbo before the bridge to close out the section. That pretty much looked the same here, but thanks to that higher mini turbo stat, Roru jumps out to an early lead of less than 1/10 of a second going into S2. Luna uses his mushroom to cut out this large turn after the bridge and grabs an ultra mini turbo on the other side. From there, he'll go straight past these ramps and into the next turn where he goes a bit wide to grab 2 more coins, but still grabs an ultra mini turbo to close out this section. Roru instead stays on the road for this large turn, but still grabs the ultra mini turbo once he comes out of it. After that, he'll go for the quick jump boost on the left ramp before starting another long drift around the next turn for the ultra mini turbo, chained with another quick mini turbo to close out the section. In an interesting turn of events, Roru actually fell behind by not taking that shortcut early on in the section, as Luna leads by nearly 0.2 of a second going into S3. Luna goes for the super tight drift around the final turn and grabs the ultra mini turbo to zoom toward the finish line to close out lap 1. Roru instead decides to use his first mushroom to cut through this sand pit on the final turn. He'll grab the ultra mini turbo as well before coming across the finish line. It doesn't seem like it, but in those mere 7 to 8 seconds, Roru made up over 1.1 seconds of ground off that shortcut to go up by over 9/10 of a second at the end of lap 1. Into lap 2, Luna goes for a tight first turn since there aren't any coins to collect and still grabs the Ultra Mini Turbo before chaining that with a normal one on the bridge to close out S1. Roru also goes for a tight first turn, but after getting the Ultra Mini Turbo, he starts his next drift a little earlier so he can perform this little turn skip before the bridge. You can barely see it, but he actually grabs the Mini Turbo a few frames before his kart leaves the ground, thus getting the boost. At the end of the bridge, and S1, Roru's lead has jumped out to 1.1 seconds. For Luna, we see the same use of his second mushroom to cut out this turn and grab an Ultra Mini Turbo before zooming past the ramps and into another Ultra Mini Turbo around the next turn on a tighter line to close out S2. Now if you look closely at Roru's drift around this turn, you'll notice that most of his kart is actually off-road. So how does he keep the drift up? Well, 8 Deluxe doesn't kill the drift so long as the back tires are on the main road. This means it's a pretty delicate balancing act to keep the kart on this insanely tight line while charging up the Ultra Mini Turbo. After that turn, Roru hits another jump boost and chains the second Ultra Mini Turbo around the next turn before grabbing another quick one to close out the section. His lead shrunk a little bit, but you probably know what's about to happen in S3 with Roru still leading by basically 6/10 of a second. Luna just copies what he did on lap 1 through S3 and takes the final turn as normal before grabbing the Super Mini Turbo and riding out that boost to the finish line. Roru also gets the Ultra Mini Turbo, but uses his second mushroom to cut out the turn entirely. You might have noticed the front tires hanging off the actual course this time. Those same back tire rules apply here, but in this case, Roru is taking what is probably the tightest line possible around this turn as he comes through the finish line ahead by over 1.8 seconds after outsplitting Luna by over 8/10 of a second. On the final lap, both racers pretty much go tit for tat here. They go tight around the first turn for the Ultra Mini Turbo heading onto the bridge. They'll either use their last mushroom to cut out the next turn or go around it normally. After that, they make their way down the back straight before grabbing another Ultra Mini Turbo after the final turn before the bridge. Through the final section, our racers either take the turn as normal or perform an insanely tight mushroom cut to grab the Ultra Mini Turbo and ride off into the sunset towards the finish line. As both racers come across, it was Roru who took the dub, posting a time that was 2.7 seconds faster than Luna's former world record. So by taking better lines, having all those longer lasting Ultra Mini Turbos, and using his mushrooms in a better spot, Roru was able to sneak under the 113 mark by a mere 5/100ths of a second, a mark that requires nothing less than absolute precision to hit. Let's explore the record itself and its limits a little more. These best known splits show that the short-lived duel between Alberto and Roru has definitely pushed this world record to its theoretical limit. They both own a stake in the best known sum time, and no world record split is more than 5 frames away from the best known lap. Lap 1 has the most room for improvement, lap 3 is only a few frames away from being the best known lap, and Roru's world record lap 2 is so fast that it is the best known split. Only about 7 frames separate the world record from the best known time, meaning it's a pretty optimized world record as of late, meaning only a few players even have a remote chance of beating it. The worldwide top 10 includes 6 national and 4 continental record holders. Roru sits at the top. In second place is Alberto, who's only a mere 100th of a second back and has the only other 112 in the world, and Japanese player FRP sits in third. Right in fourth place is North American record holder Matt, and American record holder Vincent rounds out the top 5. The bottom 5 of this leaderboard share just over 0.5 of a second in separation and includes Oceanic record holder Panda, Azusa, English record holder Jobo, Somen, and Bot. It's without a doubt a pretty talented top 10, but since the record is so optimized, I would bet the next world record is going to come from either Roru or Alberto. They are so close to each other right now, so we might be seeing some action soon, or not. Nobody can really tell these days. That's all for episode 54. Sorry if it seemed rushed or boring, but this course isn't exactly the best for this type of content. If you did enjoy this video, like and share it with your friends, and comment on which course you'd like me to analyze next. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.